The first on a day, it seems, goes by without more warnings on energy. You know, the electricity and the gas that we once could take for granted, that was affordable and available. The energy that's now demonised for supposedly putting the planet at risk from climate change. Hence the push to end the household use of gas for heating and cooking and to generate all electricity from renewable wind and solar. The electricity that the Albanese government assures us must be cheap because wind and solar are free, yet somehow, you know, our bills just go up and up. The electricity that's supposed to be abundant, yet we can't use our dishwashers when it's too hot or our heaters when it's too cold because that'll just overload the system. Meaning it can't be much of a system at all, can it? Well, more bad news today. First, the Australian Energy Regulator has revealed that more than 130,000 households are on what's called household payment plans. So payments for people in financial stress because they can't pay their power bills. Now that's up about a third from 12 months ago. We learn also that the average power bill debt these households owe is nearly $1,500. And the second bit of bad news today is the warning from the Australian Energy Market Operator to the 4 million or so Australian households with solar panels that they might soon lose the benefit of the feed-in tariff because solar power is overloading the grid during the middle of the day. And we don't have enough batteries, of course, to absorb all that excess power. Now, this is what happens when ideological fervour drives a giant energy experiment that's not being thought through and that is inherently unachievable. It's what happens when activism trumps engineering. There is just no way we can run a first world electricity system that's largely based on generation that only works when the wind blows and the sun shines. Certainly it can't work without an abundance of gas, which we also lack, because the same green zealotry that's anti-coal is also anti-gas, even though gas is about half the emissions of coal. But don't worry, all these problems are due to what the Energy Minister Chris Bowen says is a fossil fuel crisis that he reckons he can solve with yet more renewables. Even though it's only thanks to coal that still supplies 60% of the East Coast grid that we have any electricity at all on some of those windless and overcast days. It's no wonder that energy is already shaping up to be a key campaign vulnerability for the Prime Minister as we start to head to the next election, with this ad out today from the Liberals.
Remember when Anthony Albanese promised to cut your power bills by $275 a year? That was 3 years ago to the day. And he didn't just promise it once.
$275.
Labor said it 97 times before the last election. But what's he delivered? Well, electricity prices are now up to $1,000 more than what Labor promised.
I used to call our energy policy in Australia a slow-motion train wreck, but business journalist Terry McCrann, I think, said it best. He said it's an economic suicide note. And one look at the nation's balance sheet, I suspect it'll be worse tomorrow, says that McCrann is right.